The game of pickleball has evolved, and now it's simply not enough to hit a drop shot over the net. Now you need to master the offensive topspin drop shot.
In this video, we're going to show you how to take your passive drop and turn it into an aggressive drop so you win more pickleball points.
Let's get into it. So first, let's talk about what a drop shot is. A drop shot is a shot that's typically hit from mid-court to baseline, and it's landing so that your opponents have to hit up on it. And the purpose of it is really to get your team to the kitchen. Now, when you're a beginner or intermediate, having the purpose of your drop shot get your team to the kitchen really works. But if you ever want to get to an advanced level, then hitting the drop shot can actually give your team an offensive advantage. So that's where this really comes into play, hitting an aggressive drop shot versus a passive drop shot. And I'm going to show you the difference next.
So like we said before, passive drops work for beginners. A passive drop, I'm just kind of landing the ball into the kitchen. But you see right there, even though I hit the ball into the kitchen, she was able to hit a really aggressive fourth shot because the ball didn't have much on it. It kind of bounced and set up. So again, if I were to kind of hit this passive shot, I'm kind of just lifting the ball. That ball is landing into the kitchen, but she's able to impart so much topspin because the ball is kind of floating. If you're playing someone that's really athletic, they might even be able to jump the kitchen line for an Ernie. So this is why it's important to be able to hit an aggressive shot, not just so it'll create pop-ups or poach opportunities, but so that you can advance and they can't do as much with that dead dink or that dead ball. So now I'm gonna show you what I mean by having more of an aggressive drop shot. On this ball, it's not gonna be at quite as high of a trajectory. It's gonna have a little bit more spin and a little bit more pace. When you hit that beginner drop, you're kind of contacting the very bottom of the ball, but with a more aggressive drop, you are contacting closer to the side of the ball. And so you really need that extra pace to get the ball over the net. I'm gonna kind of show you what I mean and how this looks. So right here, I'm adding a little bit more pace, and you can see the response that I'm getting from my partner isn't nearly as deep, doesn't have nearly as much spin. And so quite frankly, this is going to allow to move forward much easier. So that's kind of what I mean, having more spin, having more pace, I'm gonna get a much easier response, and it's gonna put me and my partner in a much better offensive position on the court.
Now I'm gonna go into greater detail of the technique on how to actually apply topspin to your drops. Now, as you can see, I'm at the kitchen line because I think it's easier to learn how to do this with dinks, but you can apply the same concept back at the baseline. So to just go over the general technique of how to add that topspin to your shot, it really has to do with brushing the ball. This brushing motion is actually what's going to apply that spin to the ball, and it's less of a slap and more of a brush. Now, a really great way to understand this is if you walk up to the pickleball net and you put your paddle on the net and you simply brush instead of slap, okay? The brush is what applies the spin. Now, I want to talk about the paddle positioning. So if you imagine like you were looking at a clock in front of you, having that paddle tip down, pointing around that 5 o'clock mark is kind of your starting position for the brush, and then going all the way up to that 1 or 2 o'clock is going to be your ending position for the paddle swing pad. A huge mistake I see a lot of people make is they don't start with their paddle tip down far enough, and then they're not really getting a ton of brush on the motion. The other thing I want to talk about is your wrist movement. Now, if I were to wave and just say hello to somebody, you see how my wrist is only moving in one direction? I'm not moving this way. It's the same thing with the paddle swing pad. I'm not moving my wrist this way, I'm only moving it this way. That's gonna apply some control to your brushing motion. As we said earlier, it's really important that you know where to contact the ball. You don't want to hit the very bottom of the ball. It's more of the side bottom. So it's really important that you let that ball get to the apex. That way you contact that ball on the side and bottom half of the ball. That's going to really help you apply topspin. Now I'm going to show you a really easy drill that will help you practice this. And this is called the slinky drill. Now how it's going to work is you're going to start off at the kitchen line. And I want you to be working on that topspin technique in motion on every single shot from the kitchen line all the way to the baseline. How it's gonna work is I'm gonna line up across the kitchen line with my partner. My partner is gonna stay there through the whole drill. What they're gonna do is they're gonna feed me 3 shots where I'm standing. I'm gonna do the 3 shots and then take a step back. I'm gonna do that all the way until I get to the baseline, and this is what it's gonna look like. So I'm gonna, again, really work on top spinning even those dinks. I'm gonna get 3 top spinning dinks. I'm gonna take a step back. Now, the whole time I'm really gonna be focusing on making sure I get enough spin on the ball. Every time I complete 3 top spinning shots, I'm going to take a step back. Now, once I get to the baseline, I really wanna work on applying some more forward motion and pace to those balls. Because the further back I am in the court, the more momentum I'm gonna need for all the shots. Once I get to the baseline, then I'm gonna start working forward. And just like a slinky, I'm gonna go back and forth all the way until I get to the kitchen line. A great way to challenge yourself is to see if you can get back and forth multiple times without hitting a shot in the net or making an unforced error.
If you like this video, you'll definitely like the next one we have coming up. So be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on those bell notifications.
And we'll see you in the next one.